Hey guys, it's Jen from over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is our project for today. So a little backstory, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I discovered these really cute little baby onesie cards and created a ton of them, but this was way back before I was doing any kind of video or online tutorials. So I was browsing through Pinterest and I ran across this onesie again, and I just knew that I had to recreate it using Stampin' Up's products, and oh my gosh, so I have to show you up close. So I used the quilted embossing folder for the little baby girl one, and then, isn't that bunny just adorable? And then for this one I used, I don't know the proper name of it, but I'll put it up when I do the video, but I used the striped embossing folder for the little baby boy. So, and then I omitted the scallops for the little boy card. So this is what we're doing today. I absolutely love these. They're super easy to make, even though they look like they might be a little difficult. But let's throw these aside. So we're actually going to be making a yellow one instead of the other two, because I wanted a third one. So let's get to the supplies and I'll show you how I made it. I apologize if my hands are dirty. I've been playing with ink and stuff this morning, but Memento Tuxedo Black is what I used to stamp the image. And the sheer ribbon, the Whisper White, it's 1/8 of an inch. I just love this stuff and I have to keep it in stock. A Good Day is the stamp set. For some reason, I just absolutely love using the little images for this set. It's so stinking cute, and I know I've used it quite a bit, but it fit perfectly on this card. Layering Circles and Stitched Shapes Framelits, and the quilted embossing folder. I can't remember the exact technical name of this, but I'll list it on the video. For markers, I did use 2 of the Stampin' Blends and 1 of the Stampin' Writes, and then I brushed some Wink of Stella on that as well. For cardstock, it's very minimal actually. You start with a 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep this folded up and I'll show you why in a minute. And then I have a 1/8 of an inch circle. I've already stamped my image on this. For yellow, the yellow is So Saffron. Now I did do one, I'll show you briefly, using the Daffodil Delight, and I really loved it. It turned out a lot brighter than, you know, the So Saffron. So this is just cute too, and I did not do any embossing on this one at all. But I do kind of like the softer color of the So Saffron for babies, so that's why I'm doing it in this color. You are going to need 2 2 1/4 inch scalloped circles. So these are what you'll end up with, and I'll show you how I make these. But you will start off with 2 of these. And then a 1 1/2 inch scalloped circle and a 1 3/8 inch stitched circle. So let's get straight into our how we created this. So I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer, which, by the way, I have Stampin' Up's paper trimmer coming to me on Friday. Yay! I'm so excited. I finally broke down and bought it. I'll be honest with you, I had not used it until my friend Val purchased it, and I had also used it at Onstage, and I knew instantaneously that I had to finally ditch my old paper trimmer for the Stampin' Up one because it was just so much more sturdy. Anywho, let's get to this. So what we're going to do is you are going to keep your cardstock folded in half, and you want your folded side at the top when we put it in the paper trimmer. This is going to go at 1 1/2 inches. And then you're going to take your blade and move it 3/4 of an inch. So this is just going to come down here, right there. So it's basically, it's at the 7 1/2 mark, and I'm going to move it to the 9 inch mark. So depending if you go from top to bottom, but I kind of like coming from the bottom part here. So then you'll flip it And you're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So you're going to move it 3/4 of an inch. Now, you're going to take the open end, and that is going to get lined up at the 1 1/4 inch mark. And all we're going to do is take our pencil and just put a little pencil mark on there. And you want it on either side. So we're done with the paper trimmer. And I'm going to bring out the Big Shot now. And taking the 1 7/8 inch circle from this, so you're going to be taking this one and lining it up with your little pencil mark that you made. So you just want to line that up there. Get this in a spot where it's not going to move on me. And you're going to want to make sure that your little corner is even in that circle. So I'm just going to stand up here, which you guys can't see, but I just want to make sure that this is even in here. So that looks good. And let's go ahead and roll this through. And we're going to do the same with the other side. So you're going to take, so that's basically, and I kind of missed my mark, but that's okay. So this is going to get it lined up the exact same way on this side. And we're going to roll this one through. Oops, that moved on me. I need new plates. These kind of have seen their better days. I do recommend using clean plates because I did find that the leftover fibers from the cardstock were kind of wanting to stick to my Whisper White when I ran it through all of this. So there's that. And very carefully, because we don't want it to move, we're just going to put this through. So now we have where our little legs are. And then I'm going to take it through one more time, but I'm going to move my circle up to the top, keeping it centered between the two edges. And you want about just halfway for the circle itself. So that looks pretty darn good there. We're going to cut this out. And the last thing we're going to do, so that's just going to come out. See, the fibers are kind of sticking to my paper. Then the last thing I'm going to do is we are going to create this little rim here, this Scalloped Circle Rim. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 1 7/8 inch circle and place it here in the center of my scallops. And cut that out. And we are done with the Big Shot for now. So there's that, and that other circle can be used for scrap. So let's bring this back in, and before we get to adhering these, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to go from this corner here all the way up to where this 3/4 of an inch cut meets. So you can kind of just eyeball where the end of your scissors are going, and it should meet up just about perfectly with the end of that. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So kind of just guide your scissors, your tip of your scissors up towards that. You can also take this and put it in the paper trimmer if you feel like you wouldn't be able to get that straight of a cut. I have also done that before. Now these fibers are kind of sticking, but I found that if I took the edge of my eraser, it takes them right off. Now that we have this done, we're bringing our Big Shot back in, and this time we're using just the regular plate that came with the Big Shot, and I'm going to grab out the embossing folder that we're using. Now I want, let's see, how am I doing this? So I want this side, no, I want this side. So this side is going to go in, like, you know, stitching would go in, so the side that has more texture. So I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to close this up and then line the top part of that embossing with my scored edge. So that's just going to come up just to the very edge of that. And very carefully, we are going to place this back into our big shot, and we're going to emboss this. Now, I did find out the hard way when I went to go use the striped embossing folder. So this one that I used on the little boy, using the regular Whisper White did not work as well. It was too thin for it, and so the embossing folder had cut through. So I did switch up and did the thick Whisper White with that one. It was you kind of had to run your dies through a little bit more because it was a little bit thicker. But so isn't that pretty, that embossing there? So now that we have this, the rest of it is pretty darn easy. So I'm just going to take some glue, and I did find that the Tombow mono liquid glue works really well with this. And I'm just going to put it, we're going to do our little neckline first. So I'm just going to put glue on half of it and making sure that that is lined up. We're going to just lay that down so it's even with the edges on here. And it should evenly come all the way around. Just going to press that down to make sure it's stuck. And then taking your paper snips, we're going to just cut the back side of this even with the edge. And then I'm going to take the remaining part of this and put my adhesive on here. So I just kind of dotted it on. Oops. Kind of sticking to the last bit of glue. And then taking this, we're going to line it up with the bottom part here. Making sure that it's all stuck down, and then bringing it so you can see the back side of it. We're just going to clip off the excess of that. And we're going to repeat it with this one. And you can just cut this in half because we won't be using the whole thing. And we'll just put our adhesive on and finish up this little leg here. Just like that. Give that a second to adhere. And then flip it over and trim off the excess. So that part is done. Now I'm going to grab out our little circles, and you don't have to use the stitched circle by any means if you don't have the stitched ones. I do kind of like the extra detail that the stitching gives, but you certainly don't have to use it. And I wanted a little bit of a scalloped edge, but my 1-inch piece, I just felt like there was too much room in between when I did it on here, which is why I brought in the stitch. So I'll show you. I'm going to layer this on top of that scallop, and it gives it a little bit more dimension as well. So it was kind of a little twofold reason having that scallop and then having a little bit more dimension on it. And then I'm going to stick this on. Oop. And that's just going to go right here, centered in that stitching. Isn't that just cute? I love the detail that that little piece has in it. Isn't that cute? So then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my So Saffron marker and I'm just going to color in his bow or her bow. Or the nice thing about yellow is it's neutral, so if you don't know the gender, the sex of the baby, then you can certainly use the yellow. And I also thought about using the lemon lime twist, but I ended up not getting that out. But I thought that would be cute too. Or pear pizzazz would be a really pretty green to use with this, if you don't know what the baby is ahead of time. And I just used crumb cake to color in the bunny. I didn't use anything, like no fancy shading or anything, just very lightly colored in because I didn't want any bleeding outside of my lines. And you know, I'm not a real fancy colorer. So there's that, and then we'll just get his body. I don't know, I can't talk and color at the same time. And I probably should have my glasses on because this image is so tiny it's hard to see. Then my eyes end up wanting to go cross-eyed. Okay, so that's that. We're just going to leave the tail white. And I came back in with the dark pink pirouette and just gave him a little touch of color, a little touch of pink in the ears. And a little pink nose, and then I came in and gave him some pink cheeks. So there's that, and then we're just going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals and put those on the back here to give it just a little pop. Probably don't need to use that many, but if you guys watch my videos, you know I do like to put probably more than the normal amount on it. And that is just going to get stuck right up here. Probably about just a little bit down from the top because we are going to take our ribbon and create a little bow. I love that this ribbon creates just the sweetest little bows. Now if only they would make it in all the colors. Like this would have been really cute. But I suppose if it was the same color, if it was So Saffron, maybe it wouldn't stick out as much. I do like the white for it. So I think that's about the size bow I'm going to make. I'll just trim off the edges. And stick this on with a little mini glue dot. And put that up here, and that is the last touch of our card. So, what do you think? Isn't that really super stinking adorable? Oh my gosh. I had so much fun making these, and this little bunny, the images, the deer would be really sweet too. These images are just small enough and perfect for this little project. So there they are, all three of them. Wouldn't it be fun to receive this for a baby shower card or a newborn baby? So the other thing that I was thinking too is I did not want to put any sentiment or writing on the front. So you could totally put your sentiment in here and then write your little thing on the inside. If you put maybe your sentiment here at the top, I think that would be really cute. But these are, I'm just going to leave these blank inside. So thank you for hanging out with me and for watching this tutorial. If you would like, I will have dimensions on my website, worldofgencraft.com, along with a supply list. And if you want instructions, please come back to the video or save the video in your playlist, or to watch later, and you can come back and go step by step with me on these directions. If you would like to shop with me, jen.stampinup.net 24/7. You can even shop in your pajamas. So thank you guys again, and I will catch you on my next tutorial. Bye.